brain's not the best today. I'm struggling to remember what my point was there, I was going with. Yeah, I think I'm not what's that word? I'm got the word. So thanks very much for leaving comments on the first two videos, and it looks like people found them helpful, which is great. With the comments though, I tend to be a person who tries to, I probably worry too much about what I want to say in those things, and it ends up just meaning that I spend too long. I figured probably the best thing I could do is, instead of leaving replies back to comments, I'll actually just make a video where I can sort of just go through the comments and sort of, I guess, discuss my reflections and my thoughts. There's comments about certain things that you can do to try and fix or cure yourself, I guess. Like a carnivore diet, a keto diet, that was the other diet one. Result of coconut oil. It's interesting, so when I got diagnosed, they said there's a few things that they said that I could do. One was to reduce stress. Another one was to try and not get sick. Another one was to learn a musical instrument or dance, which I do neither of. Oh, I've taken up a musical instrument because of it. But I think the benefit of those things seem to be more around, as opposed to just learning new information, like an academic exercise. I think the benefit really came in from doing the physical aspect of it as well. So with music, I've got to learn the music theory along as well as actually learning how to play the instrument. So anyway, haven't been all that compliant with the music. So anyway, I also got told about a Mediterranean diet. So I don't know, what the evidence base is in terms of the difference between the Mediterranean diet and a carnivore diet and things. And there's discussions in there. You guys are sort of discussing about that. And there's also someone said about glucose as well, and how people are sort of seeing Alzheimer's and dementia, I think, as a type of diabetes. I do try and look, at the end of the day, I've kind of lived a fairly healthy lifestyle anyway, in terms of I try and eat the food in its least processed form, so you're going to have your fruit and vegetables, and I have meat and fish. But I try to avoid sugar. That's largely, though, I'll be honest, just because I'm trying to have a gut. very, very superficial reason for not having the sugar. But it's the truth. That's what I'm doing it for. That's what motivates me. So, yeah, it leads me to a different. Leads me to another conversation I wanted to have, though, around. So these are solutions, and it makes sense why you would go down that path. I remember one guy's comment was fantastic. He goes, he used that quote, do not go gently into that good night. And I thought that was great. It was, you should be fighting. You should be doing whatever you can to avoid this. I'm still in early stages. If I can stop it now, if I could just hold it and just stay this way, fine. I could live life like this, no worries. You can do it. I should be doing everything I can to try and prevent it from getting worse. I have not been in that headspace. My partner would send me through things like on Instagram and stuff, and reels where evidence is showing that this helps and this helps, and I don't just not try. I actively try to avoid it. Like, I don't read her those ones. I love her reels. Thanks, darling. Your reels are great, but I ignore them. I just swipe them. I can't. And I think what it is, because I've been thinking about it then. This is why it's good me doing these videos, because it starts to make me think about it. I don't want to get let down. I know the limitations of research as well, and I know how the media can also play up on things as well. And so I also, I'm wary of things that I see in the media when it comes to here's the solutions for fixing things. But irrespective of that, I don't want to live my life. Let's say I've got 5 more years. The doctors basically wrote in my thing, I've got 5 to 9 more years of living independently. And so I've got 7 years of living independently. I don't want to waste that time going down rabbit holes all for nothing. And at the end of it just going, damn. In saying that, you could have another 40 more years of life ahead of me if I just went down the right rabbit hole, And it wouldn't really take that much effort to research up on these things. People have just said, look, hey, and even just doing things like, a certain dietary change and stuff, you can just do it. It's not really going to harm you. You might as well just do it. Anyway, so I've still got a bit of a roadblock in my head about solutions, and that I'm not saying it's not going to change. It's just where I'm at, I guess, right now. But in relation to that, you're taking statins. I don't know what it is. Clearly, don't tune into these videos if you want a useful resource in terms of a wealth of information. Yeah, as I kind of indicated on other videos, I kind of buried my head in the sand, to be honest, about all this stuff. And I'm just sort of trying to creep out of doing that now. I do take medication though. I don't think I've bothered to learn the name of it. That's the reality of it. I mean, I've obviously read the packet enough times, but I can't remember what it's called. This comment suggests that it could be a demon. That it could be a demon interfering with my thoughts. I don't know. I'm not a religious person. I'm agnostic though. I'm not an atheist. I tend to think it's probably I've been working in research and stuff for years, and I'm quite a critical thinker, but at the same time, I just rely on evidence-based. I think it's really important. But at the same time, though, to be a good scientist, you've got to be open-minded. And just because something doesn't align with my current values and beliefs doesn't mean that it's not right. So I just don't know if there's a spiritual or religious aspect to any of this in terms of the cause. There's a comment here too about the person's husband has since been diagnosed with young onset Alzheimer's, and he kind of was in, I guess I'd say, denial, in the sense of him feeling like he explain away, he's had stress and all the other stuff, you explain your symptoms away, I guess. I was doing the same thing for ages, completely before I was considering going to the doctor. I just thought it was stress, and I just explained. And I actually thought the doctors wouldn't take it serious anyway. I thought they would just sort of say, well, it's just stress related. So that was a reason why I didn't go to the doctor initially. What type subtype of dementia do you have? I have young onset Alzheimer's, but I don't know if there's types within that. This one was an interesting one. I'm curious, when you watch back your recording, do you feel that your speech pattern has changed at all? First two videos, I do notice it. I pause a lot more than... It just takes me longer to get my thoughts. I did try making this video yesterday though, and I was foggy, and I had some bad moments in that. It's funny, I haven't just decided to make these videos. I have thought about making these videos quite a number of times since I've been diagnosed. And to be honest, I've tried making them, and something stuffs up every time. Like I dropped a camera in the ocean. That was an expensive mistake. It's just not thinking. I wasn't thinking. The wave came up anyway. And I'm a bit of a perfectionist as well, so I wanted things to look good and sound good and etc. etc. I wanted to overlay images and stuff, and anyway, I've just accepted that that's all too hard. And it's not. I do photography and videography as a bit of a hobby since COVID. So it's something I do just for fun. And I thought I'd sort of put that into this as well, but I'm not. I just kept on stuffing up, and I think it probably was my Alzheimer's. I do tend to just take longer to do things and make mistakes more than I used to anyway. It probably was my Alzheimer's, probably not though, I don't know. This one really got me. So this person said that their grandfather has dementia and can't remember his own son. But when the son gives the dad a kiss, the dad gets emotional. And when the dad's around, he can get emotional. And that hit heartstrings, because I just felt like, you're going to forget you're going to forget everything, and yet there is still something inside that remains. And it's love, I think. I think it's the love. I think it's that intangible thing that gives meaning to life, and that's still there. And I don't know if everyone's experience is that way. I don't know if all people feel that way and they still show that. Maybe there's people watching this going, well, I've got a mum and a dad or something, and they've got it and they don't remember anything, and they get that reaction. And I'm going to cling on to the hope that I have that reaction. Might be wishful thinking. I'm glad that for this person that they have that. This person said long COVID could be a cause, and it might not even have Alzheimer's. It might be long COVID. My partner was pretty adamant that this was COVID caused, and when getting diagnosed and speaking to the doctors, she really stressed that. It all seemed to start in time with that, with getting COVID. And when I got COVID, it really, really hit me a lot, like in terms of I'd get this very similar symptoms, the fogginess and not being able to think very well. So there's some elements of truth in that. And I don't know if what I've got is long COVID or Alzheimer's caused by. Anyway, I don't know. But let's hope it's not Alzheimer's. I'm going to go with that. What have been the most supportive responses from people in your life, and the least supportive? When people don't dismiss it, that's the main thing. I think I can dismiss it. I can live in denial. Perfectly fine. Suits me well sometimes. But I think if people dismiss it, I haven't had experience with that though. I've got a sister though who just really struggles to accept that it's that. And she worked in aged care for many years, only just recently got out. And she worked, her patients have later stage dementia and stuff. And so she reacted that way at the very start. She hasn't sort of had that sort of reaction so much more now though. But it's not that I was upset with her for thinking that way and stuff. I also know it's also good on her. She's trying to fight for an answer still, for the trying to get to the truth. So it's all good. Most supportive responses. It's interesting. So when I keep on saying it's interesting, I've noticed too watching these things. Sorry, I have little things that I say over and over again. It's just I didn't realise I say these things all the time. Yeah, you want to see how you talk? Record yourself for a bit, and you pick up on your little things you do. But when I got diagnosed, I was with my partner and my brother, and my brother went off, and then my partner and I in the car, and we drove, and she's like, let's just go tell your parents and my parents. Let's just go do it, get it done. And I went and told her dad. He was working in a shop, so her mum wasn't there, it was just the dad. And he was a little bit like, oh, okay, sort of thing. A little bit like light response for it. And it was just okay, and everyone responds differently when they find out. Anyway, then we decided, okay, I told her dad, and we'll go back to their house, her parents' house, and tell their mum. So we told the mum, and she reacted sort of as most people sort of do, with shock and sadness, I guess. But then my partner, while we were there, got a phone call from her dad. What was really interesting is I've been with my partner at that time for 4 years. She's not the mother of my children, and she's got children, I've got children. We've been together for 4 years at that time. And I couldn't help but think when she got that phone call from her dad, she went to a different room, I couldn't help but feel like, is he saying, you need to leave, you need to get out of there, you still got young children, you got your whole life. And I was completely understanding if you had that reaction, and they have, anyway, that's a conversation for another time I think, but totally fair enough. But it wasn't, and it was actually along the lines of, oh shit, I've just Googled it, what it is, and this is horrendous. And we'll be there for you as much as we can, and everything, whatever you need will help. So how people react to it as well is interesting, and how I perceive people react was different. There's comments in there too about people's own experience, particularly with living with their loved ones and stuff who have dementia. Thank you for sharing them. They're insights into your living life of it all and stuff. So I really appreciate that. That's the kind of stuff I feed off that. So it helps me. I like it. Thank you for sharing those.